you've got like nobody really leading any sort of populist movement. So electoral politics from the perspective of any sort of populism seems kind of like it's just not, that's not where it's happening. And fortunately, we're seeing really good things happening in labor, and really nice, support for labor that I feel somewhat, inspired by that. But until we have a Labor Party, it's hard for me. Because I don't, and can you please clarify? We had somebody in the chat saying that somehow you're a Fed and you work for the Fed. Why? Where did these things come from?
But I've been found out. Oh shit.
Yeah, but guys, if he were a Fed, he wouldn't want to come on my show. Like, why would you come on my show?
Well, to keep you on there, keep you in check. Keep an eye on
Vaush
you.
can't keep me in check. Nobody can keep me in check.
There's a lot of I'm actually doing this call so I can trace your location. We're getting the feed through now. No, I get a lot of shit because sometimes the stuff that I say is people interpret it as being a lot more institutionalist than a populist lefty should be. I think a lot of my takes are, I mean, everyone says this, right? So like, I'm not unique for saying this, but I believe a lot of my takes are motivated by realism, basically. So like the idea of what can we actually do and in what ways are we limited? A lot of people want like progressive power, populist power, this, that, the other. And I agree, but we can't just snap that into existence. There's a process. We build the staircase, we build the ladder to get there. And the process of building that ladder is really unsavory because any actual engagement with politics, with like the process of politics and gaining power means doing stuff that feels kind of really cucked. Like Bernie Sanders endorsing Hillary Clinton and then Joe Biden were both, in my opinion, very politically necessary and smart decisions because not having done so would have cemented a narrative of him being a detraction from Democrat power over Republicans. But it also feels really cucky to watch Bernie Sanders, a really cool guy, endorse Hillary Clinton, who's not a really cool guy. Not even a little.
Look what you've done. Look what you've done.
So if you're going to bring up my name, I just have to come on here and let you know that we appreciate all of the wonderful things. Jen, good to see you.
Hi, Bernie.
All the wonderful things that you have done to try to inspire all of these wonderful people that are watching your live stream right now. I know there's you got a pretty big audience. Congratulations. You're doing a good job. I did not want to endorse Hillary Clinton, but one thing I have to come on here and say, and it's very important, we have to talk about this. When we talk about what has happened to the elections in the United States of America, we cannot deny what happened in the 2016 Democratic primary.
I donated both times. I was part of the solution, okay? Not the problem.
Thank you.
But we definitely have to understand that if we're going to save democracy here in America, and it's hanging on by a thread, we have to eliminate superdelegates. We have to have an honest electoral process. And we have to make sure that people understand that you can have fair and free elections, ranked choice voting, same-day registration, and frankly, why not just have open primaries across the board? I'm an independent. I think I have the right to say that. But in the meantime, great to see you. You're doing a wonderful job, Jen.
It's been a delight to see you. I haven't seen you since we met at that Tacoma rally back in 2020.
It was great to see you there, and I'm still fighting the good fight. And remember, Palestinian lives are just as important as Israeli lives. Don't ever forget that, and stick in the fight, each and every one. Have a good one.
Well, we're getting a comment you might want to respond.
You got Bernie in your studio. Holy shit.
Isn't that cool? I always say we're small but mighty. We're small but mighty. So I wanted to ask you something totally not political. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah.
So you've before referenced that you're on the spectrum. And I have a son that is not, but was thought to be, like, he's got a whole host of other issues, and a lot of his friends are on the spectrum. So I'm ingrained in that. How do you feel like that affects you now? How do you feel like that affects you now in terms of like dealing with people and like not just interpersonal, but especially being somebody online? And I think to me, sometimes when I see people accusing you of things, I wonder if there's any sort of connection between their interpretation and you being on the spectrum. Like, I'm just curious.
I try not to attribute too much to it. Like, I make a lot of jokes about being autistic. I mean, I am autistic. The jokes aren't that I am or I'm not. It's jokes with that being the subject, because it can be easy, I think, to like over analyze one's behavior and attribute too many things. It's kind of like how nowadays, like if you ask your average like college freshman about why they are what they are. There's like a million intersecting modes of analysis they'll go to, whether it be like their star sign or their horoscope, or like whether they're an introvert or an extrovert, or like what autistic, ADHD, whatever. But I think like people are people. It's always complicated. I think one of the things that I've struggled with when it comes to directly engaging with other people is that other people are willing to make, at least from what my perspective would be, so many concessions for the sake of getting along with other people around them. Will like have a political position, but they'll see other people around them have a different position, and they'll kind of like wiggle their way out of it to get closer to the group. And I'm, you say you don't understand why people are so disagreeable about me. I have argued with a ton of people on the left, sometimes on stuff that's actually pretty minor too. Like not even, I've gotten into disagreements about stuff that I wouldn't even consider that consequential, but I like arguing. I think arguing is fun. It's a good way to find out where people stand. So I don't take it that personally, but I think a lot of people see stuff like that as a really personal expression of their like immediate social and moral worth, and that leads to them over investing in stuff and like shifting out of positions they might otherwise hold. And that's always kind of bothered me. I think that not an overcommitment, because that implies there's something wrong with it. A strong commitment to your positions, or like being bullheaded, is considered like an autistic trait, I'm pretty sure. So I think that carries through. Either way, it doesn't affect me that much, mostly, I think, because I really like public speaking. So getting good at that has helped me with the more like social elements of being autistic.
Well, I also think something that people often get offended by, and this is something that's hard for me in dealing with people, because I am a person of reason. You want to get emotional, keep that in your personal life, keep that to your interpersonal relationships. People's feelings regarding policy, like how it makes people feel, is irrelevant to me. I don't care. I don't care about in my personal life. Yes, I very much care about people's feelings. But in terms of what is sound policy, I really don't care about feelings as much as I care about reason and what I care about. And that's something that you are always very good at, I think. And I think that rubs people the wrong way, when you're able to look at something very logically and reasonably, and it isn't necessarily as touchy-feely as people would want you to be about something. And I dig that. Like, I like that about you, man.
That's very kind of you. I'll take the compliment uncritically. I've certainly had my fair share of times where I'm just yelling at chat, but that's very fun. I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.